The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another broadcast here on LSRTV, and welcome to the iRacing Pro Series, the one and only way for you to qualify into the Peak Anti-V Series for this year's top oval motorsports. And well, it's Rachel Whiteford here with Gabe Wood, and we are getting ready for round number 9 here at Dover International Raceway, the Monster Mile. And well, looking at the entries we have tonight, Gabe, Miles is hungry.
Yeah, looking here, we got 35 cars signed up here, Rachel. Good to be up in the booth with you yet again, and we're at the final race before the big one at Daytona, the final race to determine the 10 drivers who will get in, and they've already qualified, and they're getting ready to grid down here on the starting grid, but I'm looking forward to it. As, you know, as many commentators have said before, Miles the Monster is a self-cleaning racetrack. Expect some big wrecks and a lot of attrition.
Certainly is, and we're going to go to your starting grid for tonight's event at this 1 mile oval here tonight. Dylan C. Jones on the pole for this one with Jake Nichols in second place. Keegan Leahy in the third position. Actually, you know what? Those grids are in the wrong order. It's Keegan Leahy in first with Brad Davies. With a little bit of an error there. Colton Davies, Casey Cohen on row number 2. Row number 3 is David Rattler, Liam Brotherton. Row number 4, Michael Gugliera and Will Cooley. Glenn Rockefeller Jr. and Adam Benefiel in 10th.
Drivers outside the top 10, Michael Guest, Brandon Pipgrass, Brandon Bulos, Johnny Gorlinski, Mitchell Hunt complete your top 15. Jacob Harberts, Nicholas Shelton, Jake Nichols, Zolat Hertzek in 19th, and Alex Bergeron, your winner from Sonoma a couple of weeks ago, in 20th.
Certainly is, and 21st place tonight will be Dallas Pataska with Garrett Lowe, Stephen Wilson, Kane Cook. Rest of the results up on your screen. We're going to go for your run here tonight. I believe we only have one pace lap here at Dover, rather than the usual 2 we get on the 1 mile tracks. So we're going to go to green flag racing in just a second. 200 laps of racing coming right up in this one. 200 very fast laps. These will go by in a heartbeat if we stay green. Pace cars off. Field under the command of Keegan Leahy. Green flag in the air, we're racing at Dover. Huge start there at the front by Leahy. Great big jump he got, 17 up in second place. Brad Davies back in third place there as the number 12. Colton Davies as well. Field separating out at the front, but it's still too wide, a little bit further back in your top 10.
16 of Michael Garuglia, and looks like should be William Brotherton there on the outside. They're still battling for that 6th spot just outside the top 5. Couple of cars shuffling back there. It looks like the 4 of Brandon Bulos side by side. What looks like the 30 machine of Adam Benefield. Adam Benefield working his way already from 12, knocking on the door now inside the top 10, right behind the 5 machine of Michael Guest.
That 30's making the high side work very well this early in the race. He's up there in the middle lane really, and well, it's done him a good job. Underneath the 5, he's going to go there for the move under Michael Guest into turn number 1. That's that double apex 1 and 2. You're going to come low at the start of the corner as the caution will fly. That is back in our pack. We'll find out where that happened, Gabe, and we'll get you a quick replay on what brought out the caution today. Monster Mile claims its first victim.
Looks like Stephen Wilson. 10 machine of Stephen Wilson coming off of turn number 4. Got a little bit loose. Just could not hang on to the car. Ended up taking out, looks like the number 18, the Dallas Pataska. He was running at the 21st spot, the 10, and looks like a couple other drivers got damaged, but no other drivers collected in that accident.
It's one of those weird ones. He seemed to get loose halfway down the straight, of course, just had a little bit too much steering in coming out of the corner, and, well, wobble, 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 got tapped, and into turn 1, he ends up there on the apron. Could have been much worse. In fact, we get a lot of worse crashes here at Dover. That one reasonably mild, by the way these things tend to go. Like you said earlier, Dover is a self-cleaning racetrack, of course. This place opened in 1969. Of course, we have 24 degrees of banking in the turns with 9 on the straightaways. Yeah, they're not even flat. Of course, we had some changes in 96 and 2009, of course, as well. But, well, Miles, aka the Monster Mile, is a brutal track. As mentioned, it's self-cleaning. This banking is quite steep. It means it pushes the cars down to the inside when they do have an incident. So most things tend to end up on the low side, but the one problem with that place where that could be a problem, Gabe, of course, the front stretch, where you are very hemmed in, and you tend to get a lot of crashes out of 4 at Dover.
Yeah, because that's one thing that always happens. If guys, you know, their tendency is to go to the low side to miss a wreck, because usually if a driver wrecks up toward the wall, he's more than likely going to stay there. But if they start wrecking here on the backstretch or the front straightaway at Dover, like we saw, I believe the 2008 race, I can't remember if it was the spring or the fall, that about 10 or 15 drivers were collected in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and it was one big wreck, and it was in the early going, so, you know, it can happen quickly here at Dover. So, yeah, we can get a accident on lap 3 here, Rachel, and only have 1 or 2 cars involved. It's a pretty good start.
Certainly is. A lot of cars coming into pit road from the back of your field, from about the 20 car backwards, heading down onto pit road for service. Benjamin Nelson, one of those guys coming down. They're going to try and do what they can here and get some fresh tires on. Of course, there's no tire limit in this series, so these guys can do what they need to do to try and just keep that car fresh. Only really 1 or 2 laps of the green, so not as many as you would think there, of course. And we'll take a quick glance at your point standings this season so far for these guys. And right now it's Casey Kerwin leading the points there. Keegan Leahy, 2nd place. Colton Davies, Nicholas Shelton, Brandon Pipgrass in 5th place. Jarl Tyen in 6th. Brad Davies, Alex Bergeron, Michael Guest, and Garrett Lowe in 10th place. And wow, there's some guys pretty close to the cut line as well. It was Brian Blackford, Jake Nichols, and Jacob Harberts. Very close to this cut line. They have opportunities here.
Other drivers, David Rattler, 31 points back from the cut line, and 38 points back at Stephen Wilson, who's currently looking back through here. He was involved in that wreck, so not looking good for the run for the run to the Peak Antifreeze Series for the 10 machine here in the late going. But we talked about him before the race kicked off. David Rattler, he's had a come from behind year from last year. You know, he missed the cutoff line by a pretty sizable margin, Rachel. But this year, he's up in the top 6 right now. He's been consistently running up front, and he's slowly but surely knocking on the door, just picking off points, trying to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, certainly is, and Michael Guerrilla behind him as well. He's one that wants to try and get himself a little bit further forwards here. Not really in a points position where it would matter right now, but well, he's got opportunities. Rattler, though, yeah, he can get himself in here. He's on outside chance. 31 points back from the cut line, but depending on how this one goes tonight, opportunity could come a knocking. And well, this is a track where anything can happen. It is Monster Mile here at Dover, because we don't have Bristol on the schedule, but we do have Dover, I should say. I was about to say Bristol a second time, but Dover is almost the same sort of track when it comes to Bristol. It's fast, it's furious, it's tight racing. These cars are very powerful. The banking is unforgiving, especially that bump out turn 4.
Yeah, Dover is like Bristol, except about a little bit faster. I mean, you're in the gas a lot more. It's a 1 mile track compared to a half mile at Bristol. But these guys get around here pretty quickly, running 22.5 second lap times. At least that's what they ran during qualifying. They're going to come to the green flag here. Keegan Lee, he continues to lead. Brad Davies still in 2nd. Your top 4 remain unchanged since the start of the race. First driver up is Liam Brotherton on the 32 machine. He started 6th, now up to 5th. A little bit of a breaking loose on the 17 machine of Brad Davies. He's going to get overtaken. Good restart for the 7 as he takes off to yet another 2-car length lead. And that's going to put Colton Davis to the inside. Can he get anything on the bottom side in that R-Laps Chevy? Looks like he's not going to be able to get the run. He's now going to hold up the 3 machine of Casey Kerwin, your points leader. I believe he is the points leader. Yes, he is by a very sizable margin. But Colton, coming off of turn number 4, still continues to lose. And it looks like the outside lane is going to pay off for Brad Davies.
Certainly is, of course, and while this starting in first is always one of those good opportunities. It goes 3 wide there for 2nd place for a moment. It had a 2.
12 machine out of control.
Those guys, yeah, 12 lost it. It's a lot of speed there, but getting away in first place so easy, of course, at Bristol, Dover even. I keep saying Bristol because people keep mentioning it, but moved there for second place as well. I think that would be the number 32 is working his way up here. Liam Brotherton working on the 3 of Casey Kerwin here, trying to get himself on the inside line for that move into second place. But like I said, very easy to get going in first place. The inside line's a nice place to get a run, and wow, you're a great opportunity there for the getaway. Plus you decide the speed, so that always helps.
There's actually
a bit higher up in the track there, David Rattler, who's trying to get himself back down again. Car behind him, though, wants to work his way in. That is the 30 of Benefield. He's trying to find that opening. There's still some 2-wide racing back in your top 10, but out front, the gaps are getting huge. Very, very fast, Gabe.
There's actually a battle for third between Brotherton and Casey Kerwin. It's settled out now. Liam now into a sizable position up into the podium positions in third here in the early going. Lap number 12. Garulia in the 16 machine. He's trying to run away from Colton Davis, who did not get a good restart, Rachel. I'm thinking the way these guys have their cars set up, Colton Davis, he may be trying to have a long run setup because it was very loose. He might be trying to run that car ragged and get the tire wear to get that car a little bit tighter.
Absolutely, and this is a track where tire wear is a major factor, of course, so you can go for a short run car if you think you can have both.
A little bit of mic trouble from Rachel, but going back through your pack, looks like Glenn Rockenfeller getting a little bit tight in the Kyle Long number 27 machine. He's going to fall back into the clutches of Adam Benefield in the 30. So go into turn number 1 here on lap number 14. David Rattler with a good run on the bottom. He charges it into turn number 1. Can he get the run coming off? It looks like he actually does. So a good line for the 24 machine. But Benefield now going to the inside of the 27 of Glenn Rockenfeller. And he's going to get it done easily. He's going to move up now into the 7th spot.
Sunny has a few little problems there. We got those sorted out, but back to the motor racing here at Dover. And up front, Keegan Leahy, you talk about setups that are long and short. His looks to be a very good one off the start. We'll see how long that lasts for that VRS number 7 machine, but wow, he seems to be doing a very good job right now. Lap 15 here, and this is where we're going to start to see tire wear come in after about lap maybe 25 or so, so 10 more laps. We'll see what his car is doing then. Brad Davies, though, gaining up there in second place. He's closing that distance. Kerwin also seems to be coming back on the 32 of Brotherton. He's starting to make his way back up to the rear bumper of the number 32 Toyota Camry. We'll see what the 3 can do. That Kirkwood number 3 Ford Fusion is sticking like glue to his rear bumper, but they're being joined as well by Colton Davies in that 12 car. He's looking at this one to get involved as well, and well, your top 10 is starting to gain itself back up again. Things are a little bit spread out further back. One of those drivers on the cut line we want to talk about, of course, is the car of Alex Bergeron. 28 machine back in your field. Bergeron running there in the 28 machine. He is mired back in 18th place. Started 20th. Hasn't really made much progress so far, Gabe.
Started 20th, now up to 18th, and his teammate looking for him back through this field. Garrett Lowe in the 1 machine. He started 23rd, now up to 22nd. So the drill spill guys not getting the runs that they wanted here in the early going, especially for Bergeron because he is so close to the cut line. Or excuse me, it's Garrett Lowe who's close to the cut line, but both of them are in danger as Bergeron now goes to the outside of the number 4 machine of Brandon Boulos, moving him up into the 16th spot. So he made up 3 positions that lap. Now make that another position there as he's going to move up into 15th because the 35 of John Gorlinski, he's very loose on the bottom, just losing a lot of speed here, Rachel. Meanwhile, up front, Brad Davies was catching the leader. Now it's kind of stabilized at half a second. We talked about drivers having a long run, a short run setup. I think Davies has a little bit better of a long run setup, and that is how he won Darlington. Your top 2 both have won this year. Keegan Leahy won in race number 3 at Charlotte.
Oh, it's
Darlington.
Colton Davies making some moves here on the high side on the 32 machine of Brotherton. And Davis is working hard here. He's just got that pass done on the outside there in turn number 4. Great move by him. Of course, 32 had to slow down out of 4 to keep himself in one piece and made it through there, but 12 forcing the issue at this stage. His car looking a lot quicker in this part of the run. We should be expecting, I think, around 50 laps or so, I think, Gabriel, for Bristol. So these guys are reasonably good on the fuel here, but at Dover again. I keep saying Bristol because I don't know why. It's a short oval. I keep getting those two mixed up, and that is my fault entirely. Brad Davis, though, he is catching up here, and that gap's coming down to Keegan Leahy. Really coming down. 0.3 of a second last time by. We'll see what it is this lap, as well as 32 making a move there on the 3. And the 3 actually getting past the 32. Gap is 0.29 of a second there between first and second place. That gap is really coming down now. Brad Davies is catching your leader, Keegan Leahy. Leahy in the crosshairs right now. Further back, though, we are seeing that top 10 really bunch back up again. I think the early punch we saw from Leahy, Gabriel, was just that. It was a short run burst. He's had some good restarts, made some ground, but it's not looking like it's going to last.
34, Dylan Jones. I want to talk about him real quick, Rachel. We talked about a few guys not being able to make up some spots, but one driver who has your 35th and last place starter in tonight's race, the 34 machine at Dylan Jones. He's now up to 18th, battling Kane Cook in the number 14 machine. I thought he was going to be able to get back by Brandon Bulow, so I think he's now back down to about 19th maybe. But oh, and as I say that, it looks like the car's getting a little bit loose, so he may have worn out his welcome and worn out those tires underneath that Aegis number 34 machine. Back up front, that gaps.
Of course, Gabriel, it's just the fact that he's kept low there out of 4. He's got guys passing him on the high side, so that big pack there of cars back at about 20th position are all over the place. We've got one car coming to pit road. That is, I think, now looking at him, the number 8
James
machine.
Millbacher.
Yeah, James Millbacher. He's coming down pit road. Not sure why at this stage of the race. Might have had some contact, but we're getting a big knot of cars there around 20th place that are really making things a bit more dicey. Up at the front, though, look at this, the gap right down here with Leahy and Davies. Davies taking a very different line, a bit higher up there in 3 and 4, and he's using that to really come up to the 7. In fact, he's just closed up so tight there into turn 1. Different line working for Brad Davies here. The 17 machine getting ominously close to the 7. This could be a race lead change coming up very soon here at Dover. That car is looking like it's on rails right now to 17, Gabe, and wow, 7's going to be worried.
He's going to start looking in that rear view mirror, but he's got a lot of time to work on and adjust that car, Rachel, because it's only lap number 28. We're just over an eighth of the way through tonight's 200 lap event. So they come onto the back straightaway here on the lap number 28. Coming to 29 this time by, it's under 0.2 of a second. Next car is 1.1 seconds back. That's Colton Davis, who we just saw a few laps ago take over that 3rd position. While these guys are still trying to catch each other, go back through your pack and look at some of these battles. Zoltan Hertzek in the 33 machine, he moved his way up from 19th to 15th. Now he's battling John Gorlinski and the 4, Brandon Bulos. These guys continuing to battle the 4 machine, the 33, the 9, and the 14 machine, the Kane Cook on the outside in 18th. He's up from 24th. A couple of these guys starting to make some move now. Look at Dylan Jones. He's now back up to 20th. He was in 18th, and I believe he fell down to 22nd. But now that car, he's moved to the outside lane. I think the inside lane just kind of wore out on that setup. Now that he's back to the outside, he's starting to run laps around these guys again.
Outside's a little bit more stable for the car, so you keep the gas in a little bit harder. We found out what happened with Millbacher, by the way. He had some damage on his left front corner, so some contact at the racetrack. We have big contact there, just behind the 34 machine. That was Pipgrass, and I believe that was the 9 machine of Nichols getting into a bit of a tussle there. Coming through turn number 3, they settle themselves out and we have no incident, but there was a bit of a chop across and somebody not quite looking where they were going nearly had a bit of a moment, but the racing does carry on here. A bit further forwards, gap to lead has stabilized again. It's dropped back to about 1/4 of a second here, Gabe, between Davies and Leahy, because right now we're not seeing much of a difference. It seems as though Leahy's setup may have come back in again. Brad just can't seem to find a way around him. Colton Davies up there in the 3rd spot, having a bit less fun of a race. His car just not able to get forwards, not being caught either, so quiet for him. Brotherton and Guerrilla up there in 6th spot. Number 16 there chasing the 32. He's ahead of the 30 and 24 who are running with him there. A bit further back, we have just packs and pods of cars here running around as lap 33 comes and goes, and 1/3 of the way through our first half of this thing. This race has got a green flag feel to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to curse this one, Gabe, but these guys have got things sorted out. But towards the end of a run, this is where we start to see the differences coming in the cars. We're going to see some guys losing positions here, some guys gaining, but more importantly, guys are going to get tight which leads to wrecks. And guys are going to get loose depending on their setup, which leads to wrecks.
Well, Rachel, you talked about Brad Davies catching the leader, Keegan Leahy, but now he's not able to get past him. That's why they call it racing. Catching and passing are two completely different things. And the way these cars are set up, especially with Brad Davies, I think it's a very aero-sensitive setup. And as soon as he got to the back bumper of the 7 machine and he got in a little bit of dirty air, that car just got upset and he's now lost a lot of front grip. He's not able to get it turned down to the bottom, or excuse me, turned down to where he wants it. And these guys, you know, we see some aggressive lines, you know, in the A-Fix series and the B-Fix series, guys, you know, some of the top split guys, these guys are running almost on the apron. I think they're scraping that front splitter in turn number 4 on the bottom side apron. So these guys are getting all of the racetrack and using all the available real estate to work their way around Dover Downs Raceway. 0.3, there's 0.3 of a second between your top two. It's just stabilized and looks like a little bit loose. Brad Davies is coming off of turn number 4.
Certainly is, and you're seeing some different lines here. The typical line there around Dover, you're going to see it from these front two if you keep the camera on them. You get apex early here in turn 1, come up the track a little bit in the middle of the corner, and they come down to apex a second time as they come through 2. They treat that as 2 separate corners. Realistically, you go off in a double apex line, but for here, 3. Some people come right down, touch once, come back up the track, and touch again in 4. Some people stay on that middle groove there, Gabe, like we're seeing from the 17. Different line from him. He's kind of running that middle line in 3, drops down to the apex in 4, so it's more of a high line late apex for him as he scuffs the middle there of 1 and 2, losing him some valuable time to Leahy. Could be that setup starting to change him, looking for some more grip. He's not finding it, but as it stands, 7 is just metronomically ticking off laps here. Yeah, we're going to have a look at the number 2 machine. Nicholas Shelton right now. I think it's getting close here as some setup changes come into effect. The 2 trying to make a move here on the 16. Guerrilla gets underneath him there in 1 and 2. Going to make a very easy move there. Not really challenged. 16 perhaps losing some grip there. Can't quite compete at this point. Will the 24 have a look? Will the 30 have a look? Adam Benefield and David Rattler there. 5 also gaining from behind, as is the 28. That's Michael Guest and Alex Bergeron. Bergeron's definitely made some progress now. Started 20th, up in 11th. His setup clearly a longer run, and it's definitely benefiting him there. Alex Bergeron with Ashton Crowder there on the pit box for him. That setup seems to be one that's designed to go work for them later in this event.
What a move from David Rattler to get past Garulia, now up into the 7th spot in turn number 1. As the 16 machine just not having the handle here in the late run. And one driver up on the top side of the racetrack, Alex Bergeron, have not seen anybody run that high of a line yet here, Rachel, but 28 testing the waters, and it seems like it's working. And as you see this track start to get darker and darker, you're going to see guys get higher and higher trying to find the available grip, because as you put enough rubber on this concrete surface, and you get that sealed with rubber, and you just lose all the grip, so you're not able to run that low line like you see some of these guys running. He's now caught up to the 5 machine of Michael Guest here down the back straightaway.
Contact there, 32 and a 3, just rubbing side panels coming off turn number 2 there. That was the 32 of Brotherton trying to make a move there on Kerwin, and Kerwin just didn't really want to move. He holds himself in place, doesn't want to get moved around too much in this one. He tries to bully his way back into the position. He holds on for now in 4th place, but maybe his time is limited, because look at this, Shelton in the 2 car. He is coming on strong here. His car definitely doing a bit better here past lap number 40. He's definitely getting a lot of ground. He's pulled clear away there from Rattler and Guralea and Benefield. Number 2 machine looking very potent as 32 goes for the move on the 3, but doesn't quite get his nose in far enough. Look at how much the 2 there of Shelton closes up behind him. Number 2 of Shelton just on rails at this stage here, Gabe. He's having a fantastic race as we go later in this run, but wow, this is definitely going to be interesting. These 2 were battling already, 32 and 3. Well, there's a newcomer to the party. Somebody else wants to dance, so move over, boys.
Now, Rachel, I got to ask this. As we get closer to the halfway point, you know, we're not even at the 1/4 distance mark, but you got to think about how aggressive these guys are racing. We talked about Kerwin and some of these guys not giving up their spots as the 2 machine finally makes the pass on the 3 machine of Casey Kerwin. Kerwin has the points lead. He's 646 points in front of the cutoff. And, you know, you look back here, Michael Guest, who's 9th place in points, you would assume that he's, in danger, but he's got almost this is going off the old NASCAR point system, but he's still got, maybe a race lead over the cutoff line. And I gotta ask, if you're up inside the top 10, do you really play it safe, or do you just try and go for some momentum to get into the Peak Antifreeze series and just kind of show, yeah, I made it and I was one of the faster guys?
Well, I think these guys all just want to win for the sake of winning, of course, because of the prestige, but, well, getting in is what's important in this series, of course, and getting into the Peak Series is why they are all here. That is absolutely what they want to do, of course. And speaking of the Peak Series, like we said, the iRacing Pro Series is will be the sole qualifying series for entry into the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. The series will be a standard A-class series with 10 weeks of racing. This is week number 9. Of course, we're off to Daytona next week. But there may be multiple splits here based on iRacing. We have 3 tonight. The field size can be up to 43 cars. We have 35 in today's race. And those are determined by qualifying speeds, of course, and we're seeing that right now. So, well, moving forward in the race.
Battle around the 6th position, David Rattler and the 3, Casey Kerwin. Looks like we may have had a little bit of contact or something happen. Looking back here. Yeah, actually, Kerwin got into the wall coming off of turn number 4, Rachel. He just got a little bit loose, and actually, no, he never hit the wall. He's just kind of lost a lot of positions, and David Rattler was able to get by.
Yeah, I think it's just been a matter of losing the tires, and it's a cliff, of course. Once you get to that position, when the tires stop working, you go backwards like a rock. You're having to lift off more in the corners. You're having to push harder to get the car to turn, and, well, looking at the thing, it looks incredibly tight for him. He's doing his best, but like I said, you have to lift off sooner. You just lose speed. You drop like a stone, and we're seeing it, but Shelton making another move on another car here. He's going to pass the 12 of Davis now, making this thing look easy as Nicholas Shelton works his way to the front. This will be 3rd place for him here as he gets past Colton Davis. Will he catch Brad Davies, though, who is 8 seconds up the road? Those two have been on rails, Gabe, so far. And look at this lead change. This is it. No, it's not a lead change. That was passing lap cars. The 7 passing the 21 machine of Benjamin Nelson.
Nelson becomes your first driver to go 1 lap down. Actually, he was 2 laps down already. So Dallas Patacka in the 18 machine, he's still got a few more seconds to play with before he becomes your first driver to get lapped by the leader out on the racetrack during green flag conditions. And Rachel, we're quarter distance through, and we're barely even 25 minutes into this race. It's gone by in a flash. Now, when they come down to pit road, we expect about lap 81, I think. 81, 85. That's going to split this race up. That's going to split this race up. Do you short pit, knowing how much tires are worth? Because the lap times these guys are running it right now, they qualified at 22.5s. Right now, Brad Davies and Keegan Leahy qualified at a 22.3. Right now, his last lap was a 24.8. So if you pit even a lap earlier, they'll make up a ton of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of those situations you have to really think about with pitting, of course, as the 11 and the 6 having a battle here on the racetrack. That's Jacob Halberts and Jarl Tyen up there, and they're getting involved with this one side by side there. See Uganda Knuckles machine at number 6 and the 11 machine losing spots there. 19 comes through on them. That's Nicholas Morse coming back at them again. So Tyen doing his best, but I think he's got some speed left in that machine. The number 9, though, looks to just be that's Jake Nichols. He's dropped back quite a bit. Actually, we saw him far further up your line, but he's back here in 18th where he qualified. Tyen goes straight through on the low side. No real challenge. But you were talking about pit road, of course, as we have
the 9 machine. What's wrong with the 9 machine? He just dropped to the bottom. Rachel, he just nosed it into the inside wall. It looks like he had an equipment failure.
Looking at this, that is
it's Jake Nichols in the 9 machine. What happened?
Could be some sort of equipment failure for him on the 9 machine, but unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to find out about that. But big problems for the number 9. Replay for you on the screen. Halfway down the straight, just drifts to the inside and holds it low. Looks like he has some sort of equipment failure on that machine, so we'll have to see what happens when he comes down pit road. But just to kind of answer the question you were talking about with pit road, of course, I'll do it as quickly as possible, but your leaders here meeting heavy traffic now on lap number 58. Short pitting is good for you. Short pitting is good because you do get speed, but that means you eat that out of your next stint if it stays green. But more importantly, you lose 2 laps here pitting under green flag conditions at Dover. And if there's a caution during the pit cycle, you're now trapped. So short pitting is a bad idea, but there is such a thing as going too long on the tyres. So I expect to see the leaders heading in about maybe lap 70, 75. I don't think anyone's going to push it to the exact field number, but we'll have to see. It's 21 loose as well.
Yeah, the 21 machine, I just saw him, Benjamin Nelson. He got way loose coming out of turn number 2. Almost brought out the caution, but what a save for the 21 machine. That car was about 6 ways to Sunday wrecked, but he brought it back from the brink and he's able to keep it going straight.
Yeah, he's having major tyre problems. You saw the replay there of that one. The Corsair 21 very much struggling here at Dover. He scored 2 laps down at this point as your leader Keegan Leahy is working his way through traffic. Working on the 8 now and the 13 cars. 13 goes low and stays low. He doesn't need to move for the leader. It's just advised. 13 stays in position on the backstretch. 7 goes underneath him. They are now lapping up to the 24th position here on the racetrack. And, wow, Brad Davies having a much bigger trouble here dealing with lap traffic than the leader. He's gone from 0.3 of a second back to 2 seconds back on your leader, Keegan Leahy. Not what he wanted to have happen, but traffic will be traffic. Nicholas Shelton up in 3rd place. He's gaining time now. He's looking about 6 seconds back from Davies, so he's pushing on still. His lap times right now for Shelton last time by 24.984. For Davies, it was a 25.2. And Leahy, 25.2. So Shelton currently looking like 2 tenths easily faster than your leaders. He's coming.
A couple of drivers already hitting pit road. One driver I want to point out, your biggest mover so far, it looks like the 27 place starter of Jarl Tyan in the number 6 machine. He's now moved up to 14th. Rachel, I believe that number 6 machine has found the way to the front.
Yeah,
I've waited 61 laps
something
to make
we're
that
going
joke.
yeah, you've waited 61 laps for that joke, and hopefully we'll not hear it for another 61 laps. Just glad nobody in this race is sponsored by Tide. Otherwise, we could have problems. But either way, we'll move forwards as we carry on with the racing. The 32 of Brotherton, who qualified in 4th, he's sitting back in 6th place right now, just ahead of 24 of Rattler. Bergeron continuing his charge forwards from 20th. He's up to 7th place now. Passing the 35 of John Golinski, or trying to, not able to do it there in the backstretch, but he'll have another opportunity here. Bergeron's going to look towards trying getting a run now. He has the run, look to the low side for 1, decides against it, stays behind him, and he's keeping going for the moment as the chat reacted horribly to Gabe's attempt at being a 2018 meme lord. Not really working out for him, but Bergeron, and here comes the 11 car as well. That actually, I believe, is him after having tyres. It's Harbert's, yeah. Harbert went in for tyres, so he's now lapping very quickly. We'll have a look at what the 11's doing. 23.8, so not qualifying times, but very, very good. So, I mean, scored 2 laps down from, of course, pitting. This is what position they'll put you in. So if you get a caution now and you've pitted early, you're in problem town. You are really, really screwed because you are not even in wave around territory at this point. Leaders, Davies and Leahy. Gap is 2.8 seconds. The gap opening even wider as more and more cars head to pit road here. We've got the 5 coming down pit road as well. That's Michael Guest. 29 just coming off pit road. The 9 is in. 19, I should say, is in as well. That's Nicholas Morse, as is, I believe, the 37 car. That is... I can't see his name on the list, but we'll try and keep that one under...
I believe it's 27. You're looking at a Glenn
27,
Rockefeller.
there we go. Rockefeller is coming in.
I saw him. He came down to pit road, Rachel. It was almost disaster for him because as he came down to pit road, I think he locked up the brakes and ended up hitting the apron. Almost slid up in front of your leaders, but he was able to keep it going. Keegan Leahy, now, which one of your leaders pits first? Because as we pointed out, it's like a 2-second difference between good, brand new tires and what these guys are running on right now. Does Brad Davies kind of just follow his own strategy? Or does he try and beat Keegan Leahy coming off the pit road? I don't actually see the 7 machine in front of him. Oh, no, he's on the front straightaway. It's a 3.3 second gap, so the tires have gone away. I think Leahy saved a little bit off his tires there on that initial run. That's why we saw Brad Davies end up catching him. I think we're pretty much seeing a replay of Darlington here, Rachel. I know Randy and I were there for that race. I think we saw the same situation. Brad Davies just kind of figured out his tire wear throughout the night, and as drivers started to fall back, he started to march his way up toward the front.
Certainly is, and looks like the tires have gone off on the number 2 car because Nicholas Shelton's not making up any more time. Still 6 seconds back from Brad Davies. But Keegan Leahy, look at that, 3.6 seconds. He's the master of traffic right now. Just passing cars at much more opportune moments, and it's saving him time on the racetrack. More and more cars heading to pit road here, lap 71. We should see them in very soon. The way this thing's handling, though, and honestly, if I was in his situation at this point in the race, Gabe, I wouldn't think about coming into pit road until I need to now based on fuel because of the caution situation. 7 has 4 seconds now over second place. He's in absolutely no threat.
He's coming.
Oh, he comes down pit road now. So this is him on lap number 72. We'll keep an eye on this. Pit stop for the number 7. Will we see the 17 react? He does not. Brad Davies stays out. 7 begins the crawl down pit road here. I believe this one is 30 miles an hour here, 35 miles an hour for pit road. A agonizing crawl as the cars fly by you on that front stretch. The roar of these engines at full power as they blast past you feels like you are wasting everything. The 2's in behind him as well. From the pole, Keegan Leahy comes into pit box number 1. Left side tires go on, right side tires go on. Sunoco race fuel going in that tank, 2 full cans. Seems to be maybe an issue with that stop. I'm not entirely sure. He's down and away. That looked like a very long stop from him.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I want to talk about Jordan Gorlinski.
Went up for 2 lefts, I think.
No, I saw all 4 go on there. I don't know what happened there, but I want to talk about John Gorlinski. He was running in the 3rd spot. He was one of the drivers to pit. He was still running, I believe, inside the top 10. He may have a speeding penalty here, Rachel, because he locked up the brakes and came in about 45 to 50 miles an hour. If he didn't, that is an absolute miracle as he now gets back on the racetrack. I don't believe he got held, so he may have gotten lucky with that one. It's Mikael Cato and Brad Davies now both on pit road, so that'll relinquish the lead back to Jake Nichols, who we saw have that trouble there in the early laps, about 20, 30 laps ago, just head to the inside wall. Still got some damage, but he is out there leading laps, and Keegan Leahy's about a straightaway behind.
Oh, yeah, he's just lost those positions to a bunch of cars come flying past us. Yeah, I think the 2 we've just been told, of course, missed his box. So that's going to cost Nicholas Shelton a lot of lap time there as the 9 stays high. He can't seem to get to pit road. I'm not sure why he's staying out at this point, but leading his laps is what he's trying to do here. Shelton with fresh tires coming up on the 10 car there. That'll be to lap Stephen Wilson. Well, look at what times we're seeing from your former leader, of course. That's Leahy. He's up into 2nd place already. There behind Nichols, who's not come down pit road yet, so he'll inherit that shortly. As this one's going very well for the number 7, coming up behind the 4 and the 16. Those cars are going to be a lap down at this point and doing absolutely fantastically at this point as Nichols still out on the racetrack. When's he going to come to pit road? Will it be this time by? On the backstretch now, we'll keep our eyes peeled for this one. 9 car does have damage, but it's more his tires are just destroyed at the moment. Not coming again, staying out. And in fact, he's going to be passed by Leahy anyway shortly.
Now, Rachel,
just after some laps led.
Is he trying to eliminate a pit stop? Because these guys pitted when the tires were gone, not when the fuel had run out. As it's almost going to be 3 wide. Here comes your leader, Keegan Leahy, or your leader from before pit stops. They're going to be 3 wide, 2 lap down cars. The 7 machine goes to the inside, retakes the lead. So that's going to settle that battle for the lead. But the 9 machine, if he can make it, 20 laps at a time farther than the rest of the guys, because they did pit around lap 70, and depending on when he does come to pit road, that could eliminate a pit stop, and it could even put him maybe not in a race-winning position, but to recover some positions that he did lose from that little mechanical failure or whatever that was.
I think he's waiting as long as possible to try and get a caution in this thing, to try and get down and repair some damage, because that car is so slow. He's being lapped by everybody, doing 25.7, so he's about half a second off what the leaders were doing at the end of their runs. So his car isn't that slow. It just looks slow compared to the brand new Goodyear Eagles on your leaders here, but this is an impressive race so far. I've got to say, 1 caution early on, and we are having a phenomenal race on this track. Nichols still not coming down pit road, of course. 3 seconds back to Casey Kerwin, who will take second place from him in a couple of laps. But lap 81 here, he's still going. Number 9 should be sponsored by Duracell,
8 car down the back straightaway, Rachel. 8 cars spins. James Milbacher, no caution, but coming off of turn number 2, right in front of your leader. I believe he was trying to get out of the way.
He stayed low and straight, so no caution. Yeah, he stayed straight to the racetrack. No, he spun around, but I don't even know. No, I think that was his incident limit because he vanished.
Yeah, something happened there with. Yeah, something happened with Milbacher, but I guess he did it for the sake of the other drivers, because I believe he knew his fate there on the back straightaway. But that's going to keep us under the green flag, so we should have a pretty good chance here, Rachel, of going green flag till the halfway point.
Yeah, I believe looking at this, he actually removed himself there. Of course, we saw the 8 on the replay. Yeah, he did that one to save the caution. Once you hit the inside wall, you know your race is basically done here at Dover. And well, this one's still going on. That was definitely the old Alt F4 stop a caution coming out and ruining the race move from him. Very sportsmanlike. Jake Nichols still out on the racetrack. As I said, that machine, that Ford Fusion number 9, should probably be sponsored by Duracell rather than SimSpeed Shop. But you know what? Great sponsor to have on board regardless. Great to see sim racing products on these cars. Kerwin has actually got him past him now. He's up into second place and pulling away. Shelton in 4th place will inherit 3rd place as here comes the 9 to pit road. We'll watch him get his service. Finally, will he stay in any extra time for repairs, or is he just going to do the basics he needs to do, of course? But we'll have to see, of course. You know what? He is actually right. Cisco's right. I did say Energizer then Duracell, but you know what? Does it really matter? Folks, we're going to take this opportunity now as we've had our full cycle complete here for our first pit cycle here at Dover. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with you after these messages.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
welcome back here to LSRTV in the iRacing Pro Series here at Dover, the Monster Mile. Looking at Zoltan Zerchek and, of course, Dylan Jones here on the racetrack. That's P10 and P11 at the moment. Looks like the 34 is catching up to Zoltan. See what he can do with that move here, of course. And, well, this one's a really interesting race so far. We were just discussing it during the break game, of course, that we had one early caution for a silly moment, and so far this has been green ever since. We've had about 90 laps now of green flag racing. This thing is going past so quickly. We're going to be at our halfway point, but inside of our first hour.
6 laps from halfway. Now looking at the 26 machine of Mitchell Hunt and Colton Davis, as it looks like now, who was that passed him to the outside? It was actually John Bapt Charles in the 30th position as the 25 went around him. But the 12 passed him. So the 12 of Colton Davis continuing his march. He lost a lot of spots, especially on the initial green flag start in that R laps number 12 machine. But he's now up to the 8th position, I believe. So now the next driver he's going to have to contend with is Alex Bergeron, who's now trying to run down also David Rattler in the 24 machine. Rattler, you know, having a great run in that 6th position, 1 spot away from the top 5. He's right on the back bumper of the 30 machine of Adam Benefield.
Certainly is, and Benefield is doing his best here at the moment in the number 30 car. As we're going to get some traction there from the 20 making his way forwards as well. Actually, no, the 20's on fresh tyres, but he's a lap down. That's Eric Smith. He's just out there having some fun here because that car's not in the contention. He actually has got Energizer on that machine, so right now it's working for him, although he has some HUD damage. Gets past the 30. 24 there, catching up. That's David Rattler catching up to Benefield. See if he can get involved in this one. 18 car is, I also believe, a lap down. That's Dallas Pataska. He gets out of the way to let them through here. Keegan Leahy, though, your leader, once again out in the middle of nowhere. 10 seconds clear of Nicholas Shelton in 2nd place. So Shelton's worked his way up to 2nd here. But the 17, things have gone badly wrong for him, of course. Brad Davies, last car on the lead lap. In fact, I believe he's just been lapped. Brad Davies, I think he got a pit penalty or something because he is just gone 1 lap down from 2nd place. Not his night.
Not what he wanted to see here at Dover International Speedway. Keegan Leahy, that's going to be disheartening, Rachel, to have the driver that you raced for the lead in the first 80 laps to then be passed by him and see him drive away. Actually, no, Brad Davies still on the lead lap, but he's in danger of it. He can see him in his rearview mirror. He's making a pass on the 22 machine right now, who's in the 31st position. But the next battle for position for him is up to 15th with Nicholas Morris, so he might be able to get him by the time the 7 machine and Keegan Leahy gets up here. But Keegan Leahy on an absolute tear, and now that Brad Davies is gone, it's now a 10-second gap back to Nicholas Shelton. So nobody able to touch the 7 machine.
No, 7 having a phenomenal race here. Shelton's trying his hardest, and he's come from quite far back. 17th place to 2nd. So it's a hero night for Nicholas Shelton, but 10 seconds to your leader. It's going to take a lot to change that. Looks like Leahy has the long-run setup for this race that really makes this thing absolutely spectacular. That car is dialed for Dover. That could be a hashtag, dialed for Dover. Their setup is absolutely on rails for this one, as we are going for it again, as 1 or 2 cars heading to pit road early. That's some of the lap down machines. Leahy working his way through lap traffic. He'll get past the 19 here. That is, I believe, a little bit further up your pack. Nicholas Moore, so he's working now, lapping cars who were on the lead lap. And now it'll be the 14th, 15th place. So he's really working on this field.
Well, as we cross the halfway point, we're lap 104 now as Keegan Leahy crosses the stripe last time by. We're going to do your iRacing Midway race break.
We're certainly are going to run through your field. Sorry, go ahead, Gabe. I thought you were done.
I was trying to find the ad read, actually. Brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, and more. A heck of a lot more professional than us up here in the booth tonight. Keegan Leahy is in the lead. Nicholas Shelton in second. Casey Kerwin in third. Liam Brotherton in fourth. Liam Brotherton and Casey Kerwin just swapped spots to move Brotherton up to third, now to fourth. Casey Kerwin, David Rattler in fifth. Adam Benefield in sixth. Alex Bergeron in seventh. Colton Davis, Zoltan Herdzek, and Jarl Tien in the number 6 machine. Round out your top 10.
Sunny Airs, Dylan Jones in 11th place, John Galinsky in 12th, Brad Davies 13th place, Michael Guest, Nicholas Morse, Garrett Lowe, Will Cooley, Jacob Alberts, Glenn Rockefeller Jr., and Brandon Pipgrass in the 20th spot.
21st, one lap down, Michael Garulia, who was up inside the top 10, so something happened with that number 16 machine. Kane Cook in 22nd, Ryan Doucette, Mikhail Cato in 24th, Dallas Pataskis, Stephen Wilson, who was involved in your first crash. He's one lap down. Decent recovery in 26th. Robbie Vrabiel Jr. in 27th. John Bapp Charles, we just saw him get past the leaders on new tires in 28th. Marcus Ruckman and Jake Nichols, after finally making his pit stop, is 2 laps down in 30th. Mitchell Hunt in 31st, Eric Smith, Benjamin Nelson, Brandon Boulos, and Jason Milbacher we saw crash on the back straightaway.
Oh, contact. We just had some contact there, actually. We'll just have a quick look at that one. I believe that was back for your, I think that was the 25th or 24th place car. Had a bit of a slam there on the front stretch, just coming out of turn number 4. We'll see if we can get that one for you there. But whilst we do that, we'll tell you, of course, that this has been Look at Your iRacing at Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. And thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iRacing.com/membership and use the code PR-GRC for an opportunity to start your iRacing career with 3 months for only $5. And that's the promo code PR-GRC for new members only.
Working lap number 110 here at Dover. Keegan Leahy continues to show the way. He's dominated since the drop of the green flag started on pole. Nicholas Shelton started in the 17th position up to second. So as Rachel said just a few moments ago, he has really shown out tonight in picking up those 15 positions here, Rachel. You know, if one person, he's had speed. I think he's just going to need a restart and some time to kind of think about the car.
Yeah, I think he really is, of course, as Shelton's in 4th place right now in the points, and this is going to be a great race for him in terms of those points. Keegan Leahy's going to eat into Casey Kerwin's lead, of course, if he holds on for this one, but Nicholas Shelton's really going to have a fantastic race and could actually jump Leahy, depending on the point situation in this thing. But it's going to be a really exciting race at the moment. Just a little bit further back here around the 16 car, who has, I believe, a lap down now. It's Guralea. The 2 of Shelton handling some lap down traffic there, the 20 and the 26. 26 though has pitted, it's coming back past him, so we've got two sets of sequences here. The lead sequence, and we've got a second sequence, of course, and wow, it's certainly looking a bit more exciting here.
As the 26 continues to move his way, he's still 2 laps down in 31st, so he's got a couple more drivers that he can pass. Marcus Ruckman and Jake Nichols. There's a couple more drivers coming to pit road. Who is that? Somebody is at the entrance to pit road. I believe that's Jacob Harberts. So your driver, who I believe is on the cut line or pretty close to it, he's actually 3 points outside of it. So not boding well for him here, Rachel. And just past the halfway point, he's in 24th. Continuing to lose spots as he's running 35 miles per hour down on pit road. But it's not looking good for his efforts here unless he can turn it around in the last half of this race. Jacob Harberts is in danger because he's going to have to go into Daytona and basically try and win or run in the top 5, which we know is a really tall order.
That race is going to be absolutely fantastic at Daytona. You certainly want to tune in for that. It will be a spectacular to set the ages, of course, as right now, Leahy actually now has officially got the most laps led in this race. No one can top him as we're on to lap 115 here for him, handling more lap traffic. The 13 and the 25 there, as he's now lapping Galinsky, who is 11th place. That is incredible. Looking for Brad Davies in the 17 car, of course, to lap him for the 10th spot, and he'll have lapped, wow, 2/3 of your field so far in this race, and they are not too far behind.
Well, it's fair to say at this point, Rachel, I believe Keegan Leahy has solidly locked up, leading the most laps. I think he did that at the halfway point. I don't believe anybody else other than, I believe it was the 9 machine of Jake Nichols has led tonight. So he's continued to, just dominate this race. We heard from Cisco that Jarl Tyen in the 6 machine, he was going to be one to look out for, but he had to work his way from 27th. He's up to 9th because if he's got the setup under him to kind of run with Keegan Leahy, he's going to need a restart. And with these guys getting more and more spread out and just kind of being content with where they're running, I don't believe we're going to get that caution. And if we do, it's not going to be with enough time.
No, well, those two are fighting each other now for 10th place here. 9th and 10th place, actually. That's Davies and Tyen. As look who's coming behind them. That's Keegan Leahy, your leader, about to lap into the top 10 here at Dover. And it's the Uganda Knuckles number 6 of Tyen and the 17 machine there of Brad Davies. Those two working their behinds off to try and get past each other whilst the leader comes screeching up behind them. This race is certainly looking a bit more interesting. I believe Alex Bergeron 20 is only just a little bit further up the road than they are. So that's going to be 8th place as well, as we had someone take out a cone on the racetrack of the pit entry cone. Of course, that one is the most damaged member of the NASCAR family, of course. The entry cone always gets it.
I'm surprised that, how the orange cone is successful on Twitter for NASCAR news and kind of funny stuff. I'm surprised nobody on iRacing's made the green cone, because I feel like that thing gets abused way more.
Oh, God, yeah. The iRacing green cone has a horrible life, and we should set up a charity supporting green cones, trying to get people to adopt green cones and look after them, One small monthly payment, and you too could save a green cone.
John Gorlinski,
or take one out, actually, if you pay your iRacing subscription as your monthly donation. But
John
the 13 versus 12, the 3 shooting round as well. That's Casey Kerwin, your points leader. He's still battling around 7th place as 35 slapped the wall like it owed him money.
Okay. 35. Yeah, I tried to say that while you were starting up your cone charity there. Gorlinski came off of turn number 4. He's running on 11th. Your first car 1 lap down, and he's over that by Zoltan Herzog by over almost half a straightaway. But with that amount of damage, I don't think he's going to be in such a good position now. He still has that lead over your 12th place driver, also 1 lap down. But he took a whale of a hit there in turn number 4, while Keegan Leahy continues to hold out his lead, 12.5 seconds. So out 2.8 seconds since we last talked about it. 32 and the 2 continuing to battle on the racetrack.
Cohen and Bergeron, they're up on the front stretch now as here they come into turn 1, and behind them, of course, they've got the 17 and the 18 there, who's got fresh tyres as Kerwin hits the pit road. 28 and the 3 still. No, that's Kerwin on pit road, as you mentioned. He's coming down for his service now on lap 123. This puts him in a position. Oh, he went into the wrong box, I suspect, there. Or he aborted. I'm not quite sure what he was doing, but this could have torpedoed his race, although he qualified in 4th. So I think he went for the wrong box there. I saw his.
I saw what he did.
He thought he saw his thing. Yeah, he went into the wrong box, and he's coming back in now.
He was cutting the pit road. He cut the pit road to gain time.
I like it. Nice move there by your points leader. That's probably why he's the points leader, finding time when he can. As in he comes for his service. It's looking like a great stop here. Of course, Casey Kerwin, your points leader there, gets his tyres, comes back out again. This is his final stop. If this thing goes green to the end, he will be good. He can make it from here, so he will do what he can as Leahy is still working his way around this track as he comes up now to get the 6 car. Tyen, Jarl Tyen there.
Rachel, I think that your quote about 3 laps ago has to go into the Hall of Fame for things said here on LSRTV. Slap the wall like it owed him money. That's a good one.
Well, you know what? I'm here all week. In fact, I will be here on Friday for Super Speedway Cup. So, you could watch that if you like your Super Speedway action, of course, and that'll get you warmed up for Tuesday in Daytona. But at the moment, the 6 of 28, Bergeron and Tyen, are still working on each other at the moment as the 7 comes up behind them to get involved. He's just pacing this one out. He's got no real hurry. 12-second gap over Nicholas Shelton. He can just afford to relax as Kerwin is back out on the racetrack, I believe.
Yeah, he's making some moves.
Down a little bit.
Making some moves on the racetrack here, Rachel. I just saw him make a 3-wide move on the front straightaway. I want to point out, he has got 2 missing front fenders. So that car has been beaten up and abused. I mean,
that's Dover, baby.
Yeah, they're both pulled in the exact same amount. So he's been hitting a lot of stuff here on the racetrack, but he's 2 laps down, all new tires, starting to work some time away. Might be able to pull off a little bit more time here and break into the top 5. I believe he was running in the 6th spot before he came down to pit. Now, Nicholas Shelton, he's getting passed by drivers like the 16 machine. They're on new tires. Michael Garulia, among a few others that have come down to pit road for a second time. This should make them good to go to the finish.
That's past the 6th position there. Only the top 6 left on the lead lap as that 7 absolutely stomps this field. Adam Benefield goes a lap down there as, look at this, the 28 is right up on him as well. So is Colton Davis. Colton Davis there behind the 30 car looking to make this one happen. He is running in the 7th spot. Bergeron just behind him as well, so he's involved too. Although the, I believe the 6 came down pit road. Jarl Tien came down pit road for service as the Bergeron catches up there as 12 of Davis looks high. Trying to find some time down the 30. Gets a great run around the top there. 12 and the 28 both getting massive runs on the 30, who's kept low, loses momentum of course. Can't quite get the full acceleration as he comes out the corner, otherwise he's in trouble. Again, kept low as the 12 and the 28 just railroad past on the top side. Nice moves by those two over the car of Adam Benefield. As 28 messes up, he gets into marbles, running very high, narrowly avoids the safer barrier up there. But he gets a good run out the corner, will keep his position over the 30. This is racing, and this is getting good, especially with the green flag conditions.
28 machine Alex Bergeron, your winner from Infineon Sonoma Raceway a couple weeks ago in that Talrico Signs and Designs Chevrolet coming out of the Drill Spill stable. Trying to catch Colton Davis, and that's not only a fight for your 6th place position, but it's your fight for what may be, if we do get a rare caution that turns out in this race, as the 28 actually is now going to come to pit road. So this may pull an advantage of them. It's a really dangerous pit road entry, especially how aggressive these guys are here, Rachel, because I'm seeing them. They hit the apron, then wash back up the racetrack to pull back down again, and that's getting really close with a couple of guys behind you.
Yeah, that's the speed, of course. They've got to try and do that to try and keep speed as they come towards pit road. They don't want to scrub speed too early, of course, but it does run the risk of them washing up the track. As 28 in his box there will keep an eye back on the leader as he's working on the 17 now. Brad Davies, who's in 5th place after his off-sequence run. That was Davies, of course, having a pit stop. He was actually out of sequence rather than being too far down the order. Up ahead, Rattler, Brotherton, Shelton behind your leader as Leahy continues just to go and go and go. Nothing stopping him tonight. Adam Benefield is heading off pit road, as was Colton Davis. No, he's out on the racetrack there. He's the number 12 machine, still running. He'll be due for pit road very soon. As if we get a caution here, this makes this race very, very interesting, of course, because right now we're looking at maybe 2 cars on the lead lap. That's Leahy and Shelton, who do have to pit, to be fair, but a lot of these guys have been lapped on the racetrack, so you got to think, if we get a caution, a lot of these guys are going to have to wave around and hope for a quick caution after our caution, because as you know, and I'm going to say the word again, even though I said it 3 times, cautions breed cautions.
You know,
33 there.
As we're watching these battles on the racetrack, it looks like an aggressive move from the 33 machine. But, you know, Keegan Leahy, he's got 12 seconds now, 14.3 seconds over your 2nd place driver, Nicholas Shelton, who's the only one that's even been close to him all night, ever since Brad Davies got stuck back in the pack. He's got the ability to kind of affect the race. How long does he stay out? You know, to try and get this done, as the 33 machine has now caught Garrett Lowe in the 1 machine. Zoltan Herzog in the 19th spot. It's your battle for. Or excuse me, Garrett Lowe just got passed.
He's also been off pit road, so he's on fresh tyres, as is Zoltan. 26 very old tyres there, getting passed on the high side as Shelton hits pit road there. Number 2 to pit road. Keegan Leahy is hitting pit road as well. Very late entry from him on the marbles there on the bottom. Could have been a mistake, nearly got the back end out as he loses the back end there onto pit road. The 7 drifts it into the pit road there, costing him some time, but he has got so much time. 26 seconds over current second place, but he had at least 12-13 over Shelton. I don't think he has a real problem here, of course. He nearly, in fact, had a lap over Shelton at this point, so he's pretty safe. He can afford a bit of a slide, especially on old tires there and getting on those marbles and whatever he picked up. He gets his pit stop leader now. Of course, Brad Davis is into pit road as well, so the leader actually cycled through. We don't actually have a current leader. It's still Keegan Leahy, even though he's on pit road, because of how many cars he's lapped.
Now, I'd be surprised if the 17 machine does not have a pit road penalty, as it looks like, is he going to take...
9.
Yeah, did he?
Jake Nichols. He just had a moment there.
Yep, sorry, I was keeping track of the your leader there, but yeah, Jake Nichols. Trying to find out what happened to him.
He just got passed by half the field, it looks like, as everyone just
he's up
past
in the wall
it. Whatever
again.
strategy he's doing isn't working. Yeah, up in the wall there for Jake Nichols. His day is going from bad to worse as he's hitting everything short of the pace car at the moment. That car looking a little bit worse for wear. He's not had a fine day ever since he hit the inside wall early in this race. Of course, didn't bring out a caution, but he's doing a good job.
Update on your front runners. Casey Kerwin has now overtaken, actually everybody inside the top 8 has overtaken Nicholas Shelton. Y'all tie in Liam Brotherton, John Gorlinski, who's surprisingly still up in the top 6, even though he did have a lot of that damage from swiping the wall. Jake Nichols, who, as we said, is having a lot of trouble keeping a handle on that 9 car. David Rattler also got by him, but Nicholas Shelton from 2nd to 9th, now up to 8th as he's gotten back by the 24 machine, but that's going to move Casey Kerwin to 3rd and Mitchell Hunt into 2nd. I did not see that coming from the 2 machine. I'm not sure if he's pitted yet or not.
He pitted, I believe, just actually ahead of your leader, as he was nearly almost a full lap down at that point, so that was... he has pitted, that's why he's that far back. The 3 car, Casey Kerwin.
Kerwin
down
gets...
the 28, but he had a bit of a moment, I think.
Kerwin gets past the 26 machine. He moves to the inside. No, I don't believe the 26 machine is pitted yet, Rachel, because he's losing that much time. The 26 machine of Mitchell Hunt. I'm looking at his lap times, and I believe his last pit stop was whenever they came down to pit road on lap 101. So Mitchell Hunt still has not hit pit road yet in that 26 machine. That's why he's picked up so many positions.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is going to obviously shake out a bit because these guys all need to hit pit road still, so a lot of these cars are out of position somewhat, but honestly, I have to give it to Keegan Leahy because this machine is absolutely rocking Miles the Monster right now. The 7 car is doing a fantastic job. 23.5 last time by, only a second off its qualifying time, and one of the faster laps at a race, I think, at this point. If I'll actually have a quick look at what his best race times were. No, lap number 2 in the race overall, when the track was cold, he got a 22.3 in race conditions, which, if I look at his qualifying, that's faster than his practice times, and I believe his qualifying. So Leahy is on fire in this thing.
Yeah, and his first lap out on the racetrack was a 23.1, so it slowed down a little bit just because of the hot racetrack, and he also wants to conserve his tires. But you said he's kind of taming Miles the Monster. You don't make friends with Miles, you just don't make him mad sometimes. And it looks like Keegan Leahy has formed a bit of a no contest agreement with the famous mascot of Dover International Speedway. It's Casey Kerwin, 2 seconds lost in the last 2 laps. He's now 13.9 behind your leader. As Mitchell Hunt continues to drop back through. So Liam Brotherton, he's now to the back bumper of that number 26 machine as I come at a turn number 2. That 32 machine's going to move to the inside. Can he get the move done, or is that outside lane going to prevail for the driver on Oro tires? No contest from the 26. He's going to move high and let the third place driver now in. And y'all tying in that 6 machine, he's up into 5th, so that's the highest he's been all night. He's up 22 spots, and it's about to be 23 as he's going to catch Mitchell Hunt in the next 3 laps.
You know, we thought it was just one meme on that car of Jarl Tyen, but you know what? The hood says, Uganda Knuckles says, do not follow the way of the Tide Pods. So he's got both of them in there for 2018 so far. So he's got it all going on with that number 6 machine tonight, as this is Shelton's catching him up from the rear now. Nicholas Shelton, who was running second place before the cycle, on fresh tyres, working his way through your field of what looks to be some fairly battered cars. So I think the deal Keegan Leahy made with Miles was definitely one of feeding him the rest of the field, who were all nearly a lap down at this point. But Shelton is coming through now on fresh tyres. His old tyres as Hunt starts to drop now. Mitchell Hunt dropping back. Yeah, the tyres are definitely dying on the 26 machine there. Shelton goes underneath Jarl Tyen, moves him up to the 4th spot. Brotherton just up ahead as Kerwin also just ahead of him. Shelton should be back in second place in no time, but the gap is like 15, 16 seconds here. It's doing well.
Just crossed 50 laps to go, a few laps to go. So these drivers should be good to go till the end, Rachel. So the only thing we have to worry about now is a caution, and with the way things are going, but doesn't seem very likely. As now the gap, I said 13.2 a few laps ago, now 16.4. So Keegan Leahy continuing to stretch this lead out. And as you guys start to lose time, 4th place driver Nicholas Shelton, as you said, he's still catching these guys bit by bit. The next driver he's going to reach is the 3rd place driver Liam Brotherton, who just made the pass for 3rd. As Jarl Tyen, he moves down into the 5th spot as Nicholas got by him last lap. A couple other drivers, Mitchell Hunt, as we said, he's continuing to lose time. He's almost off the lead lap now, as Keegan Leahy is now to the back bumper of that 26 machine, so not paying out. It looks like he's just waiting for a caution, but I don't think the caution is going to come, as he almost puts it into the wall trying to let your leader by, so he's going to move 1 lap down. And now the battle is behind them for 7th as John Gorlinski and Brad Davies battle. Davies gets the better of that, and he's going to move up into the 7th position, about to be 6th. They can move to the outside of the 26.
Yeah, the tyres on Hunt's number 26 car are definitely a little bit done at the moment as 17 comes through. 35 of Gorlinski also follows through there and makes his way forwards. 24 car. David Rattler looks set to make a move as well. Tyres on the 26 are very bad. P2 though, Kerwin and I believe the 32 car just got past him. That was Liam Brotherton, just made it through, but I still think those two need to pit yet at this one, Gabe, so we'll see what happens to them. Both those cars with some battered up front quarter panels from feeding Miles, but the 13 car is just behind him. I thought he was actually on the same lap. He's not. He's a lap down. This top group of cars, I'm sure some of these boys have to pit still. Nicholas Shelton coming through. He's actually catching this group now, so he's reeling in the 3.
As these guys start to race more and more inside the top 2, is Shelton, he's to the back bumper. Kerwin, where he's about to be, as they come onto the back straightaway on lap number 158. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the paint scheme on the 32 machine of Liam Brotherton, because it is going. A couple weeks ago, he had Carl Edwards' Affleck scheme, but replaced the letters with Liam. Now he's got his, I think, his rookie car that he won Atlanta with his name all over it. So some interesting paint scheme for the 32 machine. Very creative, and I really dig it.
Certainly is, of course. It's a really nice scheme on that car. A lot of great schemes actually in this field, of course. As see them moving through, and wow, we are actually nearly 3/4 of the way through. 40 laps to go here, and for a lot of these guys, it's 2 and 3 cars right now. Kerwin and Shelton, as Shelton gets the low side, makes it an easy pass on the fresher tires. His car also immaculate compared to a lot of these guys who have bust-up fenders. But now, Shelton's been pushing pretty clean, looking for a nice second place in this one. He'll be going for Brotherton now, who's just up ahead of him. Shelton will be recapturing the 2nd spot here, and, well, from his qualifying in 17th place, makes him one of the bigger movers, apart from Jarl Tyen, who's about to come up as well and pass the 3. Goes to the low side on the backstretch. Will make it in 3 and 4. So yeah, Jarl Tyen, biggest mover in our field so far, 27th to 5th at the moment, and is 4th now. He is absolutely flying.
Shelton now coming up to the back bumper. He's about 1 second, about 4 or 5 car lengths behind your 32 machine. Shelton came in tonight 4th place in points. He took a risk because he did not run Darlington, so that was used as his one and only drop week. So his worst race of the year that he actually competed in Richmond, that ended up being, it actually ended up being a race that it counted, but he still got a 490 point lead over the drivers in the cutoff line, as the 2 machine of Nicholas Shelton, as we just talked about. You know, you talk about him, he's still moving closer and closer up front, trying to work around these lap cars. Now around the 16 machine, so it's going to get close coming off of turn number 4. It's going to keep it
very heavy
in the
traffic.
gas.
Absolutely packed there as the 6 comes through as well. Tyan is doing his best to get through this same knot of cars as Shelton just did. 32 just ahead of them. You can see that 2nd and 3rd position on the racetrack, and looking at the pit strategies, I think both of those two will be looking at a 2nd and 3rd finish in this one, which will be fantastic for them in terms of their points. Referencing back to them where they currently stand in your positions, Shelton currently sitting in 4th place, Leahy in 2nd place, Tyan in 6th. Both of those looking to move a lot further forwards than they currently are, as likes of Brandon Pipgrass, who is running currently 5th in the points positions, he's down in 20th place. Colton Davies, I apologize, is in 10th place at the moment. Alex Bergeron, his day has not been as good as he wanted. He's up in 10th place, 9th place only. He needed more than this. Michael Guest and Garrett Lowe not doing fantastic. Garrett Lowe really has been quiet today. He's, well, only moved up 8 spots, I believe, at the moment. He started 22nd, he's in 14th. He needs a better day because he's on the cutoff line and he's close to Harberts and Nichols. And those guys are doing pretty well.
Rachel, I want to point out we saw the 26 machine of Mitchell Hunt continuing to fall back. It's gotten even worse for the number 26 machine. On lap number 164 a couple laps ago, he hit the wall in turn number 4 and ended up spinning the car to the inside. Caution did not come out, but into the night for the 26 car as he continues to slide down the field. Now back to 26th. He'll probably be down to about 34th by the time this one is over with. Keegan Leahy continues to lead 22.4 second gap. Chad Coleman just said in the spectator chat that he's going to lap the entire field if it stays green, and I think that's a pretty fair statement, as he's only a few seconds behind your 2nd place driver. He can see him out of the front windshield. It's just been a dominating night for the number 7 machine.
That'd be a massive achievement for him, of course, to lap an entire field 3 seconds back. That is not a gap at all for him, as he is roaring through this field, about to take everybody to school here at Dover. You know what? They need to tear down Miles the Monster and replace it with a statue of Keegan Leahy, because he's shown just how scary he can be on this racetrack. But Nicholas Shelton here really up now on the 32 of Liam Brotherton. Should be passing him inside a lap or 2 at this point in time, as the 6 of Tyan tries to get ahead of the lap down machine of the 15. The leader creeping ever closer behind him to put him also down a lap. As it stands, only 4 cars in the lead lap, and they're all within visual range of your leader, and under 3 seconds now to those guys. This is absolutely phenomenal from Leahy. Shelton having a bit of a struggle here. We talked about that dirty air and how sometimes when you're just a little faster than the car, Gabe, it can be very hard to actually get past them, because once you get up to them, that advantage goes away in the air.
And the fact that he's driven from 9th to 3rd, that also may be a factor here, Rachel, because those tires have got to be hurting on that 2 machine as he drives it in hard to turn number. Caution! We get a caution.
This changes everything. This changes
machine.
Absolutely everything. 16 car will get you a replay, as Michael Garalea has an issue on the racetrack, and we'll get the replay of that one. Guess what? It's a problem out of turn 4. Loses the back end of the marbles. Round he goes. Slaps the outside wall. Drifts sideways across the racetrack down to the bottom. Not a huge hit for him, but this changes everything. Not only does this save Brotherton, Shelton, and Tyan, because all 4 of those top 4 are going to come in for pit road, but this is a restart, and I'm going to make a guess here, an educated guess, Gabriel, that those 4 will pit. A good portion of the rest of your field will not pit, because the best chance of them for them is to wave onto the lead lap.
Well, we will
because
get
cautions
Brad Davies.
Breed cautions. We will, of course, get Brad Davies, but Cautions breed cautions. The chances of a caution after a restart, we've had so long green, these guys have been spread out. Packed up field and a restart. I fully expect we'll have a second caution after this one. Hey, we might not, but I think a lot of these guys are going to stay out. They're going to wave around and hope for a second caution, which secures them on the lead lap. This will be the move I expect from them here, as we see a lot of these guys come down pit road now. Your leaders, Leahy, Brotherton, Shelton, and Tyan, all going to head for pit road. They are indeed. All four of them hitting pit road as expected. Davies is waving around now. First car who is a lap down, leading this pack. I think all these lap cars, I think a lot of them are going to stay out, especially the guys one lap down. It's the gamble they have to take here if they want to make anything happen in this race.
Now, the only driver we've been able to see tonight to even get close to Keegan Leahy is the driver running around the racetrack right now in the 17 machine, taking the wave around to get back on the lead lap. He'll have new tires. He won't have the starting position he had. He started first row outside. He started second in tonight's race. He'll have to restart fifth, but we have about the same amount of time that he was faster than Keegan to get this race back, to finish this race in a green flag. If anybody's going to have a chance at this win, I think it's the driver who just got back on the lead lap, Brad Davies.
It could be. Let's see who decides to come to pit road. Who here is not willing to gamble? And there seems to be one or two drivers at the 3 who is gonna pit. Interesting choice from Kerwin. I know he's secure on points, but he doesn't need to gamble. I thought he might consider it, though. Although staying one of the first cars a lap down might be an advantage with a second caution. Only about half the field are going to come to pit road. I thought they'd gamble and stay out, and it looks like they are. Yeah, a lot of these guys are staying out here and going to go for a wave to put them back on the lead lap. And that has a big impact in tonight's race. A lot of cars and old tires. That's almost a recipe for a caution. So by hoping for a caution, I think a lot of these guys who are waving might well cause us that caution, because old tires in a pack doesn't end well. This is Rachel's prediction for this one. We're going to see the yellow flag back again very shortly, I think, here at Dover, and Miles will claim his sacrifice.
Yep, I think Miles is getting hungry. It's been a long day for him. Not that long of a day, actually. It's only been an hour and 18 minutes to run 176 laps. How's that for condensing 200 miles into a short time frame for some of you guys who have to get to sleep here in a little bit? These guys are going to get a full 200 laps in within an hour and a half, Rachel. This has been one heck of a race, and I'm excited to see the finish, because guys like Nicholas Shelton, Liam Brotherton, they're going to get another chance at it on an equal playing field. Will they just muscle Keegan Leahy out of the way? We've seen the outside lane not be able to get a good restart. Can the inside lane get a decent jump and maybe move that 7 out of the lead?
That'll be an interesting call. We'll have to see how it plays out, of course, but a lot of these guys are going to have to wave, and they'll have not very long to do so to get back around to your leader. So a lot of cars waving around. That means we have a bit of a broken up restart. Some guys actually reaching the back of the pack as the field will go green. We're going to see another caution here. I almost guarantee it. We're going to see another caution. If you're watching right now, do not turn off, because you're about to get one of the most exciting ends to a race at Dover that you could possibly ever have. People were talking earlier about how packed the stands are for today's race. You know what? Yeah, I think everyone's going to be on their feet for this final 23 laps here at Dover, because I think another 4 of them is about to be under caution. This is going to get good, and you don't want to miss a moment of this. We are going to go non-stop to the end here on LSRTV, of course, because this is going to be phenomenal, as the field is probably not actually going to catch the pace car. Well, no, not all of them are, at least.
Well, this will be fun.
No, I think everyone's caught up now, actually. Everyone is around, as they're all single file, of course, because they've waved. Here we go. Pace car will pull off now. This is it. Restarting the hand of the 7. 2's on his outside. Can he get a good start here and snatch this away from the man who's dominated it? No, he doesn't. Sleeping on the start. His 32 is a massive jump. 3 wide in the back.
7.
Oh, it's busy.
7 machine Keegan Leahy. He almost lost it there on the restart, Rachel, getting up through the gears. I thought he was actually going to spin it, but the 32 machine of Liam Brotherton, he moves up into 2nd. Nicholas Shelton down to 3rd. Y'all Tyan in the 6th machine up to 4th. Brad Davies trying to get past Nicholas Shelton now as they come to the start-finish line. Actually going to get the updated timing and scoring now. He's up to 4th behind Nicholas Shelton. Y'all Tyan in the 5th position, David Rattler. Alex Bergeron makes the move, and a couple of guys slower down there on the bottom. And it looks like we got a battle now for the 6th and 7th position, as the 9 machine actually is a few laps down, but he's got brand new tires in the 27th position. He's just showing that he wants to get up there and have a little fun.
Oh, absolutely. And this one's stayed a little bit more spread out because of the old tires throughout the back of your pack. Not what I expected at all there, but the lead group is definitely making it interesting. Of course, Leahy off like a startled hare there. He's packing the lead by over a second already. There's no way he's dropping this thing, of course, as the battle really is now for second place as Brotherton tries to hold off Davies in the 17 car. Shelton also wants to get involved in this. He feels like he should be the one in second place as 17 looks to the 32. Has the inside line, but not enough of a line to make it happen. Stays to the inside for 3. Can he get it in there? Tries to put his nose in. He does. Will he have to run out of turn number 4? We'll see in a second as they stay side by side. This is it, guys. This is what we want to watch. Side-by-side racing at Dover. 17 gets through. Can the 32 answer back coming out of the corner? He'll have the faster line off it. Doesn't get it, but he loses that spot now. Down to 3rd place. A lot of pack racing further back. 2s and 3s. Big groups actually coming onto the backstretch. I think everyone's a little too tight with these setups to have any accidents because they're all just trying to get through this thing. The 9. Well, the 11, sorry, getting shuffled around by a lot of people here. Jacob Harbert, he's currently only scored 1 lap down. Back to your lead group here, the battle for 2nd and 3rd place as the 32 now being challenged by Shelton once again. 17 has jetted off, now he's broken to 2nd place. The battle for 3rd now commences. Brotherton holding off Shelton and Tyan. That's behind them. That's the 35 of Gorinsky coming through as well, I believe. 32 though, under threat. Shelton had a faster car in a longer run, but will he have enough time to make it back? That is definitely going to be the story for the end of this thing, as car slow on the inside there, spins it out. Oh, will we get a caution? No, he slaps it inside.
The 21 machine
holds it in there. 21. Yeah, Benjamin Nelson, who lost it and will tow. No caution there. Very nearly had a 2nd caution, very close to the end of this thing. That would have really shaken us up with 14 cars on your lead lap who'd all have fresh tires. That would have been a very intense end to this race. Things spreading out here actually at the front of this one. I'm disappointed. My prediction was wrong for this thing. I thought we'd have a far busier race. Replay there of the incident on the track. Bit of racing now here around the 11, the 31 as well in there, the 23 involved. That's Mikhail Cardo.
Yeah, looking at
11 of Jacob Alberts.
Looking at the wreck here, Rachel, looks like he got up into marbles in turns 3 and 4, and he went to go turn down the racetrack. That was actually right in front of your 2nd place driver, and he got it down to the apron, and then there was a bump, I guess, in turn number 4 on the apron.
Out of 4, yeah, there's a bump just out of 4, and most of the line actually through there, the apex you come through.
No, it was on the apron. It was on the apron.
Yeah, the bump extends all the way down. It's a kick all the way down to the bottom of the line there.
Got you. Yeah, so it was, yeah, I guess that's the tunnel entrance into the racetrack because he hit it. The car hopped about 1.5 feet in the air, and it just upset it so much he ended up hitting the wall.
Did indeed. Tyan now under threat from the 3, who's actually a lap down, so he's not actually under threat. The 3 did pit, so he's a lap down. In fact, I believe he's the 2nd car a lap down, as he has ahead of him the 33 of Zoltan. Further towards the front, Shelton's catching the 32 here. Can he do anything in traffic? Can Shelton get anything on Brotherton?
That gap is actually stabilized here, Rachel, between Keegan Leahy and Brad Davies. And we got 10 laps to go with the stripe. Next time by, can we see a repeat performance from Brad Davies and end up running him down? Harry, yeah, he cut it down by 0.2 of a second. This may be a little bit closer than we thought it was. As the
Look at how thick the traffic is. Look at how busy the traffic ahead of them is, though, Gabe. Look at this. Your leader's having to work his way through this traffic of lap-down cars with old tires. So are these guys. It's getting very busy here. 2nd place has come back to them. Goes around the 11. 32's boxed inside the 10 behind the 11. Can the 2 take advantage of the traffic as they're trying to find places to go on this racetrack? The 11 moves up 3 wide as the 32 gets past the 11 and the 10. 2 comes through as well. This is a recipe for problems. You got old and new tires mixing here on this circuit. Bristol, Dover. Again, I make that mistake. Do apologize. It's been a long time
Go
since
sit in the corner.
at the Talladega, so I will go sit in that corner after the race finishes, because I'm not leaving this seat until this thing is done, because this is exciting racing. Shelton's dropped back. 32 has a good stretch here. This one's definitely opening up a bit more interestingly, though, but the leader and his gap to 17 has actually come down in the traffic, so Brad Davies is trying to recoup some time. It's better than it has been, but it's not good with 7 to go. 12, 24 and the 1 having some action. That's Rattler, Lowe, and Davis. This is down back in your top 10. This is like P10, 9, and 8 here. And they are fighting it out now for positions, all of them on older tires. 24 has a good line here. Rattler to the inside. Not going to make it work. He tries to throw it in there. 12 scooches up the racetrack. 24 has a good line, but he's boxed by the 20. The 12 doesn't give him all the room. 20 gets out of the way. Very honorable from him. 12 holds it on the high side, but 24's not ready to give this thing up yet. Rattler holds it down there, but can Davis do anything with this? Oh, but it's a touch between the 24 and the 12. Lowe gets a good run and will get him involved in this whole thing, as Rattler is desperate to get past Davis.
24 machine still being aggressive. David Rattler having a good season, trying to capitalize. Caution! We're going to get a restart with 2 laps to go, maybe.
This
looking
just
for
got
the cause
good.
of it. Right in front of your leaders, I believe. Actually, right beside your leader, the 19 machine of Nicholas Morris. He dove it. It was actually your leader. Your leader was trying to pass some lap cars. The 7 machine of Keegan Leahy was able to hang on to it, but a couple of lap cars doored each other.
No, he got through. 7 got through.
Well, he was able to get through it, but the 5 and the 25 doored each other on the front straightaway. Right as the 7 of Keegan Leahy went to drive through them, and he went to the bottom side trying to miss it, and the 5 machine doored him.
Yeah,
and that
17's ahead.
That was what checked up the 19. Yeah, Brad Davies was able to get the lead from that. What a wrench that's been thrown into this.
This is getting very good. Yeah, the 17 of Brad Davies started second, now leading. First time we've had someone on the same real cycle here as your leader, ahead of Keegan Leahy. Second place is an awful place to start here, as 7 comes for a pit stop. Mistakes were made as the 17 stays out.
What has happened to the
no
race
one else
for
is
Keegan
pitting.
Leahy?
Leahy's pitting on his own here. He has a little bit of damage. Maybe he has required repairs. I don't know. He took a front wheel hit, so could be that he actually has damage he has to serve, because only he's come down pit road here. Nobody else has even thought about it, and the crowd goes wild. Rest in pepperoni, Keegan Leahy, because your race, sir, is done. So you led the most laps. You led basically 99% of this thing, and now he's in pit road getting repairs and fresh tires. Do you think he thought maybe other people would come? No, he's not getting repairs. He's straight back out again, but I don't know why he pitted.
I think he's trying to take advantage of new tires.
Will there be enough time? I mean, there's only 11 cars on the lead lap, so it's possible, but this is a massive gamble from him.
What he's banking on is running from 11th to 1st in a lap.
Oh, actually,
maybe?
only three other cars had the same lap tires as him about 12 laps ago. So 3 cars have laps that are 12 laps old. Everybody else has tires that are about nearly 80 laps old. He should theoretically fly around these guys, but will there be enough time? That is a very exciting question.
What is
a lot of guys coming for stops here and getting tires, so he'll cycle back through. But oh my gosh, this is about to get good, guys. This is about to be very interesting here. Can Keegan Leahy dominate from further back here? But I think because he was going to start second, I think he wanted to pit because he'll be 6th. Okay, he has a chance here. Starting in second place is probably the worst place to start at Dover, because you have no way to get a good run on that higher line. The leader always has an advantage and can go when they want to. The outside line is also very loose to restart on. Starting in second place is awful at Dover. As you've seen from every start we've had tonight, second place suffers. So was it a case of I'd rather be further back and getting a better shot at when the leader goes to make it through the traffic, a dive down low to get round some of the high line cars, We're going to have to find out in a lap or two because this thing is maybe one lap, I think. One lap at most. We have a late race caution, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to maybe have two. This could be the last lap here. I think this might be the last lap of our caution when everyone 2x2s here because this has to be a 2 to go. This is a green-white checker.
No,
The lights are out.
This is a green checker. We're
It is, yeah.
We're going to take the green flag with a 1 lap to go, Rachel. So it's even less time for Keegan Leahy to get up here. So he's going to have 1 lap at the line. And
No, the
one
lights
lap,
are out.
Yeah, it's going to be, the lights are out of top.
No, yeah, 1 to go. 1 to go.
So Brad Davies, he's going to have to hold off. Nicholas Shelton, Liam Brotherton. Let's throw Jarl Tien in there because he's on new tires as well. Those guys, and whoa, what is happening up here?
Nobody knows.
This may delay the caution.
Seven's trying to find his spot here. No, I don't think it's to delay it. They're all trying to get to their places. They've all been waved past. Seven is third on the outside lane. He is in 6th place. He has a chance, but it is a very slim chance, and I think people are going to wreck here for places. So no yellow flag, of course, on the final lap. So this is go time. Let's see what happens. Final lap here at Dover in the iRacing Pro Series. Who will take the win? Will it be the 17? Will it be the 7? Or will everyone explode? Green flag is out. 17 with a huge jump again. And look at a 7 flying here on the outside line. About to pass Shelton on the inside. Or trying to. Looks like it's good, though, for the 17. He's out front. There's 3 wide. Contact. 7 gets turned. 7 gets spun by the 6. Round he goes. 35 makes it past the 32 car. As up now, he gets turned. 32 gets turned into the outside wall. 2 goes round the front. We'll have to replay all this shenanigans after the race because right now, it's the number 17 takes the win. John Gorlinski from nowhere nearly takes the win. Oh my gosh, Gorlinski nearly takes the win there at Dover by a heartbeat. He's in 2nd place.
Yeah, no,
he's not a lap down.
He's a lap down. No, he is on the lead lap.
He is in 2nd place.
Finished 2 100ths behind Brad Davies.
Let's look back at this.
Where did he restart?
Let's look back at this thing because this needs to go back and be looked at here because, oh my gosh, we're going to replay this whole final lap for you at about half speed, I think, because we need to see this thing properly. So back to just before the restart, we'll have a quick look at Gorlinski. Started on the inside line, back in 5th place. No, he was in about 7th place. Through they'll come now, and the restart happens, and it's a bottle up on the inside. 7 gets a good run. 35 dicing through people. There's 3 wide behind him. 35 just dives low, below the 6, hits the 2. Oh, hits the 2. The 2 then hits the 6, which hits the 7. So it was actually Gorlinski which set off that chain and slowed everyone down, got him up into 2nd place. The 24 tipped the 32 into the outside wall in 3 and 4. And yeah, what a phenomenal end to this race. So it wasn't actually the 6 car's fault. The 6 car got tipped by the 2 who got nudged by the 35 who came 2nd. So an absolute flyer from John Gorlinski, making this incredible towards the end of this. We thought we were going to have a quiet end to this race. Green flag and a win, of course, for Leahy. But oh my gosh, what a race we just saw here.
Brad Davies, what? Got a feel for Keegan Leahy. I mean, from dominating this race 180 laps to going from that to getting hit by a lap cars, still being in 2nd, but you come down to pit road to take tires. You're making your way to the front on a 1 lap to go restart. You get taken out. You end up coming home in the 11th spot. Nowhere near. His lowest spot during green flag running was the lead. He never lost the lead without pitting.
That's amazing, but it's so unfortunate. But this is NASCAR. This happens. It's not where you run most of the race. It's where you finish on the final lap. Unfortunately, it wasn't his day. He had fresh tires, but it put him in a position where he was 2, 3 wide up top. Actually, he became 4 wide at the end there when Gorlinski got involved. But that was a phenomenal end to this race. And, well, Miles got fed. I think Miles is done for the night.
It was a late dinner, but he got fed.
He certainly did, and well, we're going to have a chance to chat to a couple of the drivers from today as we're going to go through the results first. Brad Davies, the 17 car, will take the win from second place on the grid as John Golinski comes home in second place. David Rattler in third, Colton Davis in fourth. Michael Guest somehow finishes up in the fifth spot, which he needed points-wise. Garrett Lowe, sixth place. Nicholas Shelton, Alex Bergeron in eighth place. Jarl Tyen in ninth, and Liam Brotherton in 10th place.
And the heartbreak of the race, from leading, as I said, 180 plus laps to finishing in 11th, Keegan Leahy in the number 7 machine. First car 1 lap down, Zoltan Hertzek in the number 12 spot, Casey Kerwin in 13th, Adam Benefield, Will Cooley, Brandon Pipgrass, Dylan Jones, Ryan Doucette, Kane Cook, and Michael Garulia round out your top 20.
21st tonight, Stephen Wilson with Glenn Rockefeller Jr., Jacob Halberts, Jake Nichols, Michael Cado, Jean Bat Charles in 26th place, Robbie Vrabel Jr., Nicholas Morse, Dallas Pastraka in 29th, Eric J. Smith in the 30th spot, Marcus Ruckman, Benjamin Nelson, Brandon Boulos, Michael Hunt, and James Milbacher in 35th and last place. Well, we're going to have a chance to chat to some of the drivers right now, so hopefully we will have them for a quick word, as I believe we have Colton Davis up first. Colton Davis came home today in the 4th place. And Colton, tell us about that last lap. Actually, no, I believe we're going to a quick commercial break before we talk to the drivers, so stay tuned. We're going to find out what happened from their perspective in just a moment.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV, and it may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Welcome back to the post-race show here on LSRTV for the iRacing Pro Series at Dover. What a fantastic end to the race we just had in this one, as we're going to get a chance now to chat to Colton Davies, who came home today in 4th place. As, well, we have him up here in the booth now. Colton, tell us about your perspective for that restart at the end there and the race in general.
Well, the race in general was fun, but then again depressing because there really wasn't much competition for Keegan for what I saw. But after the top 7 or so, it was really fun because we were all so close on speed and you could move around the track so much. And that last restart was a spectacle. You had
it was typical Dover. It was carnage.
Yeah, but you know, you just had to make sure that you didn't spin your tires and hope the people that stayed out on old tires didn't collect you and their tire spinach.
That's a very apt way to put the whole thing. And, well, 4th place is good for you in terms of points, of course. Based on where you are, of course, you're 3rd place or were. So you're going to maintain, or at least advance. You're in a fairly secure spot going forwards.
Yeah, I think I'm locked in for Daytona, so it's just either have fun or try and help teammates get in.
There you go. Colton Davis, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, next up, we are going to see that in just a minute, of course. But for now, we have got Garrett Lowe here, and Gabe's standing by.
Garrett Lowe down here on pit road. How you doing, bud? And a newly free agent, as I just found out here. You come home in the 6th spot, just outside the top 5. Didn't run anywhere near there the entire night, just hovering around the top 15, top 10. But you come home 6th. I know you were looking for a good run because you've already really wasted your drop week at Darlington with you only earned 56 points there. So that'll more than likely be your drop week. But, you know, with a 3-point lead, do you think, or a 3-point lead coming into tonight over the driver behind Jacob Harberts, this is a pretty good night for you to try and lock yourself in the top 10.
Yeah, it turned in a bad night, turned into a great night there. I didn't really want to see that caution come out in that long run. That was the fun long run for sure. Really enjoyed that. A lot of good racing with everybody in the field. Everybody was really fun to race with tonight. And you know, I didn't want to see it at first, but then once I realized, you know, I'd have a chance to race for a top 10, felt better about it. When finally we got that second caution, or the next to last caution, and I didn't pit because I didn't think that I would need to, and so I ended up pitting on later on in that caution and was able to drive up to 6th there because everybody was wrecking everywhere. Crazy finish. Did not expect that at all. Congrats to Davies on the win, but that was a finish.
Now, Garrett, coming into Daytona next week, it's going to be the final race to determine if you're going to race in the Peak Antifreeze Series. It's something every iRacing Oval driver who wants to get serious tries to get involved and get moved in. Do you think you have a shot at it moving up, trying to get it done? Or sorry, just a second, trying to look through my notes here. Going into Daytona, do you think you can stay out of the wrecks enough to get into the top 10 or stay in the top 10? Or are you just going to kind of ride in the back and avoid the wrecks, or are you just going to try and win the race?
I don't really know if I'm going to go into Daytona with a set game plan. I think it's going to be kind of an on-the-spot thing for sure. Tonight's finish definitely helped. I wasn't really expecting that, so I realized, you know, with about 50 to go that I was going to have to pass a lot more cars if I needed to get the points that I needed for this week. And I was able to get, you know, points, not, you know, great points, but I mean, it's pretty good. You know, 6th isn't a bad finish at all. Very happy with that. But going into Daytona, I think I'm just going to have to go with the flow during the race. It's going to be a pretty crazy race. It usually is. So we'll just have to see what happens, how it shakes out.
All right, Garrett, congratulations one more time. Anybody want to thank before we let you go?
Just like to thank Jules Bill for the help last week and helping me kind of get this good points over the last couple weeks, and even helping me out this week. So get their help.
All right, Garrett, and I believe now Rachel is caught up with your third place finisher, David Rattler, who I think unofficially has moved himself inside the top 10 in points, but we're going to have to wait for the official word on that. He did have a good night. Rachel, you've caught up with him.
Certainly have. Thank you very much, Gabe. Yeah, David Rattler's here, third place tonight. A phenomenal finish there, of course, David, and you ran pretty solidly all race long.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, just really needed those long runs. The car was good on the long run, and I think everyone saw that. A couple of us had that pace, but it's unfortunate that got that caution that had to end that late in the run, but I think we got the wave around and got back on the lead lap, and caution flew again, and came down to take tires, and just tried to get a good finish for my team there at the end.
Absolutely awesome result there for you. It could well move you into the cutoff line, so going into Daytona with a positive outlook?
Don't like the super speedways, but I'm sure my spotter Jimmy and my crew chief Matt will make the right moves for me. So we'll just try our best. No matter what happens, like, just proud of my guys at LDR for all the work that they put in. It's been a challenge with the new build and trying to find speed, but I think we had good pace tonight, and hopefully we'll have good pace for Daytona.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for next week. David Rattler came home today in third place. Thanks for joining us, David.
Thank you.
Well, next up, we have Keegan Leahy, who's standing by with Gabriel Wood. And Gabe, you're talking to the driver here that came home today in 11th place in number 7 car.
The number 7 comes home in 11th, but that is definitely not where it should have ended up. Keegan, unfortunately, led almost the entirety of tonight's race, but when it came down to the end, a tangle with some lap cars put you in a compromising position. Even after the events of tonight, what's your opinion on the race up to that point?
Well, first of all, my motto that I've always raced by has been worry about the performance, not the results. I'm always just trying to improve myself and get faster and faster. And I think I showed that I was pretty strong tonight, and I'm not going to be too worried about the results. I think the race spoke for itself, and I'm in a pretty solid position in points right now. I think I'm pretty much locked into and pass, so I can't really take too many negatives out of tonight. I accomplished what I wanted to.
Well, Keegan, next week at Daytona, are you going to race flat out or are you going to ride in the back just to get the race over with? Or are you going to go out and try and make a statement and show that you need to add another win to your win counter before going into the Peak Antifreeze Series?
I think the statements are going to have to be made and then pass. I'm not too worried about it right now. My plan for Daytona is just to run around with some people that I've been working with over the last few weeks. Try to help them get some points. Try to stay out of trouble myself. I just want to show that I can finish the season out clean, and trying to not get involved in any drama this week. And and I wanted to touch on earlier in the race. I think I can't really put too much blame on what happened on other drivers. I made it 3 wide on the lap cars because I thought that was my only chance of staying ahead of Brad Davies there. And then on the very last restart, I took 4 tires and I had to make it 3 wide and try to get by everyone as quick as possible. And and it just didn't work out. There was some netcode involved, some contact, and ended up bouncing between the walls. And so I guess we'll move on to Daytona and try to get a clean race in.
Well, Keegan, congratulations on what would have been a terrific run. But as you said, keep your head held high because you ran a great race, had a great performance, even though the results on the scoreboard don't exactly show that. But you go into Daytona with a good head of steam and probably more than likely, as you said, guaranteed in the Peak Antifreeze Series field. So anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
I was talking with Garl this week. It was pretty fun. We built our setups completely independently and ended up with basically the same speed setups. And Chris Shearburn was helping me this week, and he was on the pit box tonight. And I hope you guys get a picture of my car up without too much damage on it, because that branding on the side and on the hood there, VRS. They brought me on board this week for some tutorial stuff and producing data packs for the Road to Pro series that starts in a couple weeks. So I'm really glad that VRS got me on board. And thanks a lot to Michael Gonzalez for the paint scheme. I think it looks great.
All right, Keegan, congratulations yet again on a good run that just didn't turn into what it should have been. But Keegan, you had a great run. We'll see you in Daytona.
Thanks, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Gonna send it back to Rachel. Rachel, we just got the updated points list. David Rattler, he was about 31 points back. He made it up. He's now 1 point to the good going into Daytona, with Michael Guest just in front of him, 52 points to the good. And Garrett Lowe is now just outside the top 10 in points. And that is the all-important spot, Rachel, to get into the Peak Antifreeze Series.
It is and it isn't, because if we look at the points from a perspective of drop weeks, Garrett Lowe is still in. David Rattler, with drop weeks counted, is not green. So he's sitting in 11th place with drop weeks counted. So he needs to put in a good run at Daytona to secure himself in. This is the fight now between Rattler and Lowe to see who makes the race to the Peak Series. And folks, if you want to find out what happens and who makes it in, tune in next week for the final round at Daytona of the iRacing Pro Series and see just who makes it in to the Peak Antifreeze Series, sponsored by iRacing. We've loved you here at LSRTV, and we're going to set this one off for tonight. Thanks for joining us, folks. I've been Richard Wild. I've been joined by Gabriel Wood, and as always, the lovely and talented Cisco Scaramuza in the booth. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Good night.